All right, and so as promised, we are back here for Q&A number 2 of CM Cerebro's interview with, I guess, this Korean Marvel Strikeforce page. Again, I'm not really sure who these people are. They are about 227 subscribers, and the views on the videos are very limited, so it's very surprising, to me anyways, that they've done this interview with such a small audience. But we're going to go through this video. We have CM Cerebro's second Q&A loaded up. I don't know why I said that. And for anyone who may have missed the first one, I do recommend going back and checking that out. I have a video for that, so you can find that in the comments below, the description below rather. And I do want to thank Alex for sending me this on Discord and kind of let me know what was going on. And I translated this. Basically, it's Marvel Strikeforce Community Manager Cerebro Q&A number 2. Sorry, I translated number 1s. Because there's 2 of them, but we're going to sit here and we're going to watch the second one and see if we learn any new insights about Cerebro and Marvel Strikeforce and Scopely or anything else that they want to tell us. So let's get started.
Okay, next question. Can we add any function to sell the items that are not being used in our inventory?
Great question right off the bat already. So some people might have been annoyed with the fact that if you stacked up your green or maybe even blue gear to some degree and you have like thousands of them, people were asking, could you merge them? Could you do something with them? Give them away? Well, that's never going to happen. But, could you merge them for something up? Like, even if it was like 20-to-1 or some crazy ratio, is there something that you can do with them to get other better resources? And I guess some of that's why this question was asked.
Ooh, that's a request that's been around for a very long time. I don't think that's something we're currently working on, not because we don't want to, but because we know there are some things that are still a higher priority. There are still requests for many features that our players want that probably are a bit more important than selling things in the inventory, but it is on our list of things to do, and probably something we will get to in the future, probably. Next question.
There's a lot of probablys in there.
The level gap between the new and old characters is large, especially
huge power creep between old and new characters, absolutely.
The difference between the early Legend of Iron Man and the updated characters. I fully understand the power inflation for the fun and community of the game. Still, there are significant characters within the Legend level or IP. I think rework should be given priority over the release of new characters. Should we expect any cool new updates? Okay, so I think I kind of already answered this question. I think I understand what the question is. I will again go back to Infinity Watch. I think that's a good example of how we're thinking about things going forward, is we'll rework some old characters and pair it with some new characters. That's probably where you'll see a lot of the updates going forward. In fact,
I do want to say that typically you do see character reworks once every 2 patches, more or less. We're getting obviously the Weapon X rework for Wolverine and Sabretooth, and 2 patches before that we had the Infinity Watch, or was it 3? I can't remember now. What was it? Whenever we had the Infinity Watch update, and then before that we had the Heroes for Hire rework with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. So yeah, I would say roughly every 2 patches, you do see some kind of rework for older characters, old existing characters rather.
I know it is. Okay, what do you think of the current real-time arena system?
It's garbage. Real-time arena is garbage. Obviously, they made some improvements in terms of scoring on the Battle Pass, the Mojo's Mayhem Battle Pass, with the ability to do blitz rotations on that, and that's fine. But that just proved that it was like kind of a bit of a broken system. But hey, let's hear what Cerebro has to say about it.
So again, these questions are a little bit old, so I think that we've had some updates since then. I think those updates have been good. I think that there's still some questions around real-time arena when paired with the Mojo's Mayhem. Yeah. The team has heard your feedback on that as well. I think that's the question you're really asking for, right? Have we heard feedback on real-time arena? Absolutely. We're continuing to look at it. We are continuing to make changes, and we're going to try and fine-tune the event. So Personally, if you're asking me personally, yes, I think the changes have been better. As in the move away from using the traits and going with the knockouts. I have enjoyed that a lot more. I think that it's giving me more reasons to try to win. Is it perfect? No, not perfect. We'll keep looking.
Definitely not perfect. It's like the furthest thing away from that right now.
At it. Can we add inventory to the items? Again, another thing when it comes to like inventory stuff here.
Don't we already have inventory? I mean, you can see how much you have.
I don't think it's quite as important as some of the other things that players want, but it is something that, again, is on our big list of things that we want to do. The costumes we weren't able to...
Oh, maybe it's inventory as in, like, can you click the inventory and you can see all of the stuff, I guess, not just see the numbers under the... I wasn't thinking about that, actually.
Purchase during the release. Will they become available again? Yes.
Hold on, wait. Oh, I missed that, sorry.
The costumes we weren't able to purchase during the release.
So, just to be clear, we had Siege Thor come into the costume store. That was the very first patch that had costumes, so it did kind of go full circle. I am also keeping a spreadsheet of all costumes and when they are released for events and when they come back into the store, like basically a farmable. What date do they become farmable? I'm keeping track of that as well.
Will they become available again? Yes. I don't know when. Costumes is still kind of a new thing that we're trying to get figured out in terms of which areas of the game we think are like the best places to make those prizes available. So I think we're still trying some new things. And then once we get kind of a better...
I'm not even going to get this Absolute Carnage costume probably on my main account because I'm just not doing it enough. Maybe I was just so burnt out of the milestones after Shang-Chi that I just couldn't be bothered to do it again and do some more.
Hold on a better idea of like, you know, what the best ways to do those are. That's probably when you'll start to see the return of some of those costumes.
Also, where's the Doctor Strange What If costume? Because we're at the end of the patch basically and we haven't seen that yet. And Emma Frost, of course, being pushed back again.
So, yeah, it's highly unlikely that we would release a costume once and then just hold on to it and never do it again. I just don't see us doing that. It might take a while for it to come back around, but at some point it will. Okay, what elements of Marvel Strikeforce makes it special for you? What makes the game special for me?
He can't think of anything. I thought that was the funniest, just long-term sigh there. Whew. I don't know. I have to go through all this trash on a daily basis and have to figure out what the best thing about this game is. Please tell us, Cerebro.
So, I'm
waiting.
I think one of the first things that I noticed when I played the game for the first time is I really enjoyed the user interface. So, you know, all of the different buttons.
What? The user that was the last answer that I was expecting. The user interface is the best thing about Marvel Strikeforce. I don't know, everyone. You tell me in the comments down below. Is the user interface the best part of Marvel Strikeforce, and what you guys love the most about it? Please let me know.
That you have around, you know, like in combat and in the roster, you know, how everything is designed, you know, around the characters.
If you've played any of those other games like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes or ones that are similar like that, I'm not sure if it's unique in that manner in the way that the interface is and the way that it looks. You know, it seems to be a ripoff. I don't know if it's a ripoff, but you know, a lot of them look like this. You know, with the roster and stuff.
I thought was just excellent. It's superb.
Excellent.
I think that a good user interface is something that is hard to get right. As in a UI that both looks good and feels intuitive. It's a big word, intuitive. Just means like it just feels right.
Big word, intuitive, you know, because for you Korean people out there, you might not know what that word means, just to be clear.
Right, like you just look at it and it just makes sense that all of the buttons are where they are and that they do what they do. I think that continues to be one of the best parts about the game and something that our team has been very aware to not try to break. I think
Try to break, yeah. Because
it's been broken in many ways in the past, but I think that the user interface is something that has stayed consistently good. Okay.
You heard him.
How would you describe Marvel Strike Force in 4 words?
4.
Oh gosh, why 4 words?
Oh god, can't do it. I'm actually genuinely curious myself what he comes up with.
In 4 words. A Marvel fan's dream. So,
Oof.
I honestly think that, like,
Yeah, it
if
wasn't
you're
too
a fan
bad.
of Marvel, you can't not love this
That wasn't too bad, Cerebro. Actually, on the spot. Maybe he paused his recording and then after he figured out what he was going to say. Either way, interesting.
game. And I think that's what drew me to it in the first place, and one of the reasons why I came to work here. My last job, I worked for another very big movie licensed game. So for me to leave that one and come here, that was a big move for me. But I just really got the sense in playing this game.
I wonder after like having to do all this stuff by himself, Cerebro's like, man, I hate my job now.
That there were real Marvel fans behind it. That there were people that wanted to do this game justice for every Marvel fan out there. So that's why I would say a Marvel fan's dream. What is your favorite Marvel movie? So, when I first started and made
Better not be Thor Dark World.
kind of an introduction post, I mentioned at the time, 2 years ago, that my favorite Marvel movie is The Avengers Age of Ultron. Apparently there are a lot of people that do not disagree, that don't agree, or they are under, it is their perception that it is not one of the better movies. But first of all, I like it, okay? You can't tell me not to like it. I like it.
Don't say Thor Dark World.
I enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the actor James Spader as the voice of Ultron. It introduced us to Vision. It's got some really great fight scenes in it. I think the reason why that movie kind of gets a bit of a bad rap is because of what happens to Quicksilver in the movie. And I think a lot of people...
Definitely disappointing. I would have loved to see Quicksilver in the MCU some more. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to replace... I think they're going to replace him. Spoilers, I suppose, if you haven't seen WandaVision. But I think they're going to do something with Speed, who is Wiccan's... it's not a real brother, but the way the Scarlet Witch just kind of pops them into existence, I guess, is supposed to be.
People don't agree with what happened with him. So I think because of a few things like that the movie gets is why it's not as popular with Marvel Cinematic Universe films as the other ones. I don't know if Age of Ultron is still my favorite. I really like Doctor Strange. That's very good.
Doctor Strange was bad when it came to Dormammu. When they did that, that CGI was just awful. It was terrible. The movie itself wasn't too bad though, but
I just don't know if I can definitively say.
Don't say Thor Dark World.
Which one is my favorite, but I can definitely say what some of my favorites are, and those are some of my favorites. Okay, we think you resemble Red Guardian from in the game. Have you heard of any other resemblances from other fans? Yes, I have heard this one about Red Guardian. I've heard it a lot also from our players here as well. I think quite often, because of my voice, I get people who think that my voice will sound like some other actors out there. Honestly, I think a lot of characters that have full beards, it's a very easy comparison to make. So that's usually kind of how that happens, right? Like sometimes I'll get like oh, maybe you kind of remind me of Thor or something like that. He's blind, I'm not, but you know what I mean. So yes, I've gotten that a few times before as well. All right. I think that's all the questions. Thank you for sending me these guys. I would very much like to hear more of your questions in the future. I will do my best to try and offer the best answers that I possibly can. But I want you to know that we hear your feedback.
That's right, everyone. They hear our feedback. Whether you're from North America or you're from Korea, apparently you can get your feedback heard. So that's good news, I guess. You know, that they actually went out of their way to do this, even though I've never seen this before. And we'll see if it's running. You know, I'll subscribe to the channel just to see if any new things pop up in the future as well.
Community managers that represent you.
Apparently, there's community managers representing Korea. I mean, let me know. Are there other Cerebro lookalikes out there?
Talk to us, and then and then I talk to the team. So there is a very clear line of communication. We hear you.
Not always clear.
We want to do things for you, and things are only going to get even better in the future, right?
You heard him.
Thank you very much for playing, guys.
Right? Like you didn't know. Okay, so that's the end of that video. Oops, I didn't mean to say that. That's the end of that video. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to subscribe to the channel, and I guess we'll find out later down the line if there's ever any things around this. You know, looking at the channel itself, it seems like that was the first time they ever did these Q&As. These seem to be just like Korean translations over the last 2 months. There's no particular Q&As here. I think they're just strike times in those videos that they released for the specific characters. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on this because it's quite interesting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I mean, it's nothing major here, but you know, it's interesting to get a different perspective on their community outreach, I guess you could say. So that's the end, guys. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.